Okay, I've started recording now. Is everyone able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Fine. Okay, so today we'll be starting with accounts payables. Okay, so today's agenda would be to just have an overview of what P2P cycle means, procure to pay. Then we'll look into what are the different types of purchase orders. Then what are business units and the shared service centers, the reference data sharing and invoicing. Okay, so that would be our today's agenda. So let's start with our class. So what is P2P cycle, Shrikant? I mean, Setu sir has actually explained it to you in detail, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. What is it? What is basically procurement and what is it P2P cycle?
Purchase to pay.
He gave an example of some pharmaceutical company and all that, how the flow goes and all that.
Ma'am.
Okay, anyways, yeah, tell me.
Where it contains Oracle supply, purchase management, inventory management.
Correct. Yeah. So basically, procurement is, so which is usually referred to as purchasing sometimes. It is a, business practice of attempting to acquire goods and services to accomplish the goals of its enterprise. Okay, your business units, run your day-to-day operations, right? So to cater to that, you buy your goods and services, right? Isn't it? So that procurement department takes care of it. So it is simply the process of, identifying what the organization needs are, and you buy those goods or services. Okay, so the procure to pay cycle is, vital, very important to an organization. In this process, the organization buys and receives goods or services from its vendors or suppliers, and then make the necessary payments to them. So the P2P process involves two modules or options, as you say, the procurement and the payables module or option, right? So Oracle's procure to pay is an integrated solution that links the purchasing and the payables to maximize the return on invested capital. Okay, so with the Oracle procure to pay, companies, what they do is they can reduce, the cost to improve their margin and, and streamline the procure to pay process to improve their working capital. So in a quick summary, if I have to say, this process flow involves capturing the demand of a product, okay, of the products or services, which facilitates quotations from the suppliers. Okay, then converting those quotations into purchase orders, after which you receive the material, okay, and finally release the payment for the vendor or your supplier. Okay, so this is basically the overview of how the procure to pay cycle goes. So let's just look into detail of the same thing again. So this process, begins with the demand, as I said, and that demand is recorded in the form of a requisition. Then this requisition is used as a base for requesting suppliers' quotations, right? It will just not give to a particular supplier. There will be so many suppliers who will be bidding for it, right? Then the supplier quotations then are entered into the application for comparison. Okay, after that, based on the analysis and the best product or price choice, the organization will award a purchase order to the chosen supplier. So the supplier will then ship and send the material, to the to provide or send the material or provide the service to the organization, and finally the organization will book the invoice to pay the supplier. Okay, so here the cash management is a module or an option that handles statements from banks and then integrates with multiple Oracle Cloud applications, such as your payables and receivables and payrolls and all that. So that gets taken care by the cash management. This enables you to even reconcile payments, that you created in Oracle payments against your bank statement. Suppose if there are some entries, entries have been doubled. I mean, the duplication of entries or anything. So all those, or there's some wrong amount which has been entered. So all that reconciliation will happen in the cash management module, right? So this is basically how your P2P cycle works. And reconciling your bank statements helps you to even see if there are any irregularities. Sometimes the what do you say, the supplier also gives you a wrong amount. Okay, so that actually cross checks and reconciles all your bank statements. Okay, so that is the function of cash management. So are you through with the procure to pay, how the whole flow goes? Does anybody have any doubt here? Hello?
Ma'am.
Yeah, you're clear, right? Okay, okay, fine. Let's move into the different purchase order types. Okay, so purchasing provides basically four types of purchase orders, which is your standard PO, your planned PO, your blanket purchase agreement, and your contract purchase agreement. Okay, so the standard purchase order is where you generally create standard purchase orders for one-time purchase of various items. Okay, you create standard POs when you know the details of your goods and services, the terms and conditions are known, the prices that you've agreed upon with your supplier are known, the quantity, the account distribution, and the delivery schedule, and everything is known for you. So this is where you actually make up a standard requisition, standard purchase order. Okay, and if you encumbrance, if you use encumbrance accounting here, the PO may be encumbered since the required information is known to you. Okay, so if you remember that encumbrance and budgeting, that the class we had an entry of budget account from PO distribution, debit 3,000 to reserve for encumbrance. That usually happens in your standard PO. Okay, then comes here is your blanket purchase agreement. Now you create this blanket purchase agreements when you know the detail of the goods and services you plan to buy from a specific supplier in a period, but you do not yet know the details of your delivery schedules, right? You only know the details of your goods and services that you need to buy from a specific supplier. So here you can use a blanket purchase agreement to specify the negotiated prices. Okay, you're still deciding upon the prices of your quantity or the product or anything. Okay, or the services that you've opted for. Okay, so wherein here once you use the blanket purchase agreement, you specify the negotiated prices for your items before purchasing them. Okay, so blanket purchase agreements can be created for a single organization or to a shared organization, like your different business units, right? I mean, you have different business units in your different countries. So you can actually make a global blanket agreements wherein you can still negotiate your prices before purchasing them. Okay, this is where your blanket purchase agreement will help you. Then we have there's something called as a blanket release also in this, wherein you can issue a blanket release against a blanket purchase agreement to place the actual order. This is usually in the process of making an order. Okay, so as long as the release is within the blanket agreement effective dates. So before you actually make a order to the supplier, you can release this blanket release in the blanket agreement. You can release a blanket release, wherein you can specify all your negotiated prices. Okay, so this is the price that we want the product or service for. Okay, before releasing the actual order. Then comes your contract purchase agreement. Here, what you do is you create a purchase agreement with your supplier to agree on specific terms and conditions without indicating the goods and services that you will be purchasing. Okay, so you can later issue a standard purchasing order referencing your contracts. And then you also can encumber these purchase orders if you have an encumbrance accounting in this. Basically you will have a contract with your supplier, say okay, this is going to be a 6 months term. Okay, these are going to be the payments. I'll be releasing the payment, say after in a quarterly basis or something like that. So depending on those contract agreements with your supplier, you later you release a standard purchase order, okay, attached with this contract purchase agreement. All right. And you can even do a contract purchase agreements globally across your business units, okay, which is called the global contract purchase agreements. Then you have this planned purchase order, wherein a planned purchase order is a long-term agreement, okay, basically committing to buy items or services from a single source. Okay, you need not wait for your quotations, or you don't want your suppliers to bid for the best amount and then you select a specific supplier. All that doesn't happen in this. You basically have already decided and you already have a long-term agreement depending on your previous businesses that you've had with that supplier. Basically you have a good rapport, or he's giving a good quality of product or a service. So with such suppliers you usually go with a planned purchase order. So here also you must specify the tentative delivery schedules and all details for goods or services that you want to buy. Okay, the quantities and the estimated costs and all that. Fine. So this is basically your different 4 different types of purchase orders. And usually the standard purchase order is one which usually people follow. But in big organizations and where your business is spread across your different countries, they usually go for this blanket purchase agreement or the contract purchase agreement. Okay, so you're clear with this?
Blanket purchase agreement, which is done before the purchase.
Yeah, correct. You don't know the the quantity, or you still have a scope of negotiating with the prices. You don't know the delivery schedule when you need those products. Okay, you are just doing all this in advance to get a better, like, especially when you have so many business units spread across different countries. Like one business unit will take care of your manufacturing of some or some product, okay, in one country. Okay, so it has to, even after manufacturing in, say, in India, it has to send across all your, products across the other countries to sell. Suppose if there are other business units who take part only in the sales of a particular product. So what you do is, in that case, you have a blanket purchase agreement with your supplier wherein you can negotiate your prices with. Okay, so this is one option. I mean, more or less, if you see the contract purchase agreement in this is more or less the same, because here also you're putting in the, what you say, the terms and conditions prior to your, purchase, the actual purchase order, right?
Where blanket and contract is somewhat similar, right?
Yeah, somewhat similar. Yes. Here you know what goods and services you are going to order. Here it's you don't know. It's only the terms and conditions that you'll be putting in. Then later on, depending on your terms and conditions, you will decide as to which product or good. If you have different lines of business and you have more or less the similar suppliers, in that you have this contract purchase agreement. Later on, which once you have signed a contract with your supplier, you will attach a standard purchase order to your contract. Okay, so these both can be can have a global like you can make one blanket purchase agreement for all your BUs, for all your business units. Okay, which are our business units are established in other countries. Okay, like that. Fine.
Okay.
Okay, so let's move ahead. So you remember this figure, right? When I was talking about the enterprise structure, I usually use this figure. So we'll just touch upon again what business units and legal entities are, because in the accounts payable, when you're configuring that, you have to configure your business unit as well. Okay, so that's the reason we'll be touching upon this again. So here we can see this Vision Corporation, right, which is a US company, under which it has 2 divisions, namely the North American division and the EMEA. What is EMEA? I remember telling you. Do you remember?
Absent on the day, ma'am. So
What is it?
was absent on the day, ma'am, when you taught me.
You were absent. Okay, Ravi, I think you attended the class, right? Ravi,
Yes, ma'am.
what is EMEA?
EMEA is one. I just
You heard it today itself.
Europe,
European Medicine Agency.
Yeah. European what? European,
Middle East,
correct?
Medicine
Yeah,
Middle East,
correct.
Africa.
Correct. Good. Okay. So that's your EMEA division, under which you have your France legal entity and your UK another legal entity. Okay. So under US, you have two legal entities. And this is the third legal entity called as a corporate BU under the US legal entity itself. I'll come to this shared service center once I finish with these. Okay. So now by law, okay, they are required to report their financial earnings in different accounting methods, these legal entities. Okay, like the US will use the GAAP, which is called generally accepted accounting principles, whereas France will use the international accounting standards. The UK uses the international financial reporting standards. Okay, these are the accounting conventions usually these countries use. So each of these legal entities have business units under it, okay, that carry out the day-to-day operations. Now let's focus on to Vision US. Okay, so it has two business units, namely US 1 and US 2. Now here, as I just mentioned, US also has a third BU, which is called as the corporate BU. Now this is this is shared with all your legal entities. Okay, meaning this shared service BU can carry out processes for all your legal entities, such as the procurement and payments. Okay. Another thing is legal entities are the one who actually pay for your, procurement and your whatever payments and tax and all that is which comes under the legal entity. The BU is only which operates your business day-to-day activities of your business. Okay, so now coming back to the shared service, this service strategy has a lot of advantages, such as when you do
BU is business unit.
Yes ma'am, BU is business unit, and LE is legal entity.
Legal entity. Okay.
Right, ma'am. Okay, yeah. So this shared service strategy has a lot of advantages, such as discounts on purchase and payments, and also for your overall simplification of the process. So what happens is, okay, let me just get into the legal entity once again. See, this legal entity is an organization, okay, which incurs all your financial transactions, such as your invoices, your receipts, your payments, etc. Okay, it also makes the purchases and owns the assets, both physical and financial of the enterprise. Okay, nothing is on the name of a BU. BU is only your a unit which takes care of your operations, but everything is attached to your legal entity. Okay, depending on the jurisdiction and the local tax, rules and regulations, your legal entity is liable for everything. Okay, so here each legal entity has a separate legal identifier. Okay, so what is a legal identifier? A legal entity identifier is a 20-digit alphanumeric code, okay, that identifies a legal entity participating in financial transactions. So legal entity indicator is a reference code. It's like a barcode that you usually see in your market, supermarkets and all. You have a barcode, right? For each and every product, they have a different code. Same is the case with the legal entity. Each legal entity has a different it's a legal entity identifier, which is a unique reference code given to a legal entity, a specific legal entity which is engaged in a financial transaction. So this is usually given by the Global Legal Entity Identifier Foundation, which is run by this G20 countries, okay, in which even India is a participant in that. Okay, so and even in India, the government has made it compulsory to, made it compulsory for the companies to get a legal LEI, legal entity identifier, wherein the companies are, their business is above 5 crores. Okay, Shankar sir, am I
Yes, ma'am.
correct, sir?
I don't know, ma'am. I have to check it.
Oh, is it? Okay, so I actually came across this when I was going through about what legal entity. So this is what it is. So so this is information even I got it today. Okay, anyways, so each legal entity has a separate legal identifier, and that conducts different aspects of a business. Okay, so the transactions being carried out by legal entities are then, sorry, I think I just went back. 1 second. Okay, as I said, each legal entity has a separate legal identifier. This conducts different aspects of a business. Now these transactions are being carried out by your legal entities, which are then accounted to your business units. See, okay, for a detailed purposes. Now transactions of all your legal entity are then recorded to a primary ledger for all your statutory reporting. Okay, so a business unit can perform many business functions in the Oracle Fusion applications. Like in Oracle EBS, e-business suite, business units were called as operating units. Okay, and those operating units were assumed to perform all the business functions. Okay, that is one aspect of EBS. Now again, while and in Oracle PeopleSoft, okay, PeopleSoft is another ERP which is bought by Oracle. In Oracle PeopleSoft, each business unit had one specific business function. Okay, suppose it is taking care of payables, it will do only payables, it will not do any other business function. Okay, so this was the feature which is there in Oracle PeopleSoft. And whereas in EBS, BU business unit were referred to as operating units, which used to perform all the functions of the business. So now the Oracle Fusion application, what it did, it blended, both these modules of EBS as well as PeopleSoft, and then it allowed defining the user, the companies in the Fusion applications, to define the business unit with one or many business functions. So you have an option of doing a single operations of the business, or you can do many functions of your business operations. Okay, so that is an advantage and a new feature in Oracle Fusion. Okay, so this part is clear about business unit. Ma'am, do you have any doubt here, ma'am, about the business unit and the legal entity?
No,
okay.
no.
Okay. So here Oracle Fusion applications allows defining relationship between BUs to select which BU would provide services to other BUs. So this is a shared, service center option. Like, let me just take you to another example here. See, there is BuddyPower Corporation, okay, which has two divisions, which is one division is of pharmaceutical company and the other division is for your, sorry. Okay, so another division is of herbal. So under the pharmaceutical, you have two legal entities, okay, which is India and the UK. And under the division of herbal, you have again two legal entities, which is one is in USA and the other is in Japan. So under the legal entity India, you have two business units, which are wherein one BU is taking care of only of your manufacturing work, whereas the BU2 takes care of your sales of your products. Okay, whereas the legal entity UK under the pharmaceutical takes care only of the sales, right? Then coming to your herbal division under the legal entity USA, there's only one BU which again takes care of only of your sales of your herbal products. And then under the legal entity Japan, you have two business units in which one business unit takes care of the manufacturing and the other takes care of your sales. Now here comes the picture where the corporate BU comes in place. Okay, so here as I mentioned in Oracle EBS, this was known as the multi-organization access control. The sharing service center was called as the multi-organization, multi-org access control. Okay, this means that users who work in a shared service center has the ability to access and process the transactions of all these business units. Okay, so these business units are called as a client business units for the corporate BU. Okay, so Oracle Fusion application supports shared service centers in two ways. Okay, now with the BU security, which allows you shared service, the employers of the corporate BU, okay, they take care and they actually process all your client business units transactions. Okay, processing means wherein you do the payments, or you buy the raw material, or maybe you just pay your employees salaries, and all those services are taken care by your corporate BU. Okay, this was part of the EBS, okay, where it could only process the transactions. But in Fusion, what they have done is they've added another feature wherein you can even do the transactions, not only the process, but you can work for your other client BUs. Like for example, say this manufacturing business unit has only a plant wherein employees would go and do the manufacturing of your pharmaceutical products. There they will not have an HR or maybe your administration branches, nothing. Okay, all those services will be taken care by the corporate business unit, okay, under the shared service center model. Okay, this corporate BU will release salaries to your manufacturing BU employees. Okay, this corporate BU will raise a purchase requisition on behalf of your BU1 manufacturing. They will take care of the requisition part, the approval part of your purchase order, and then finally make the releases to your supplier. So you got the concept of what corporate BU does. It can take the responsibility of all your BUs. The BU will be your specific this just takes only of care of your manufacturing. This takes care of your sales, and it doesn't do anything else. The other process and the functions this corporate BU takes care of. Okay, do you have any doubt here, anybody? Yeah, it's clear, ma'am. Chitra ma'am, Shrikant, is everything clear?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. It's clear.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So that is what business units and shared service centers are. Okay. Okay, let's move to the next slide. We'll go to reference data sharing. Okay. See, reference data sharing is a new feature which was not available in the Oracle EBS. Okay, so what does reference data sharing means? See, reference data sharing features the use of reference data set. Okay, I'll be referring that as RDS, okay, from now on, which means reference data set. Okay, so the reference data sharing features the use of RDS to which the reference data is assigned. Okay, we just left it 5 minutes. Okay, fine. So here the reference data sets in Oracle Fusion applications allows either the sharing of master data objects. So and does anybody know what master data objects is? I think Shrikant, you should be knowing. Sir had clearly explained what master data objects are. Do you have any idea? No, not yesterday. In the previous classes, when he was taking the P2P cycle, he had clearly explained what master data objects are. Ravi, do you want to say, because I think you attended the class in the afternoon, right?
It is about like a business object used in different applications.
Yeah, master data objects.
Accounts receivable, accounts payable, like that, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It is. See, basically, it's a database. Okay, it's a database of all your customers, your vendors, your suppliers.
Finance, like that.
Correct. Everything comes into that, ma'am. So whatever your enterprise is doing, the business that is holding, so all that is stored in your master data objects.
Okay.
Okay, so that is what the master data objects refers to. So now this RDS, which is a reference data sets in the Fusion applications, allows either the sharing of master data objects like your payment terms, as I just mentioned, the data of all your business activities. This RDS allows sharing of data across all the BUs, or you can make it exclusive to a specific BU. All right. So this basically partitions or divides the master data objects on which the BUs get access to. Okay, as in the previous slide here I mentioned, right? Sorry. Here, if you see, this BU will not have an access to all the details of what, the BU2 is having, like the sales, the payment terms, what and all it's doing, right? Okay, so they have a different reference data set. Okay, for each BU, they have a specific reference data set. But for the corporate BU, you are sharing the reference data set. You are, creating a data set wherein it knows it can access all each individual BU's master objects, because it is taking care of, it's working and doing the process of all the other BUs on behalf of, it is taking care of all the client BUs. Getting my point? So you can specify, you can give access to a specific BU, or you can restrict that access so that the other BU cannot access your BU, like the BU2 cannot access the BU1's master data objects, whereas corporate BU can access either BU5, BU7, BU8, or even BU2, 1 or 3. Okay, so this is the reference data sharing, right? Okay. So basically there are two seeded RDS. Okay, seeded means which is already predefined in your applications. Okay, which is called as the common RDS. Yeah, tell me.
That corporate BU is the master data or individual BU?
See, this has access. Yeah. See, corporate BU is being created so that it takes care of the client BU's transactions. Now see, in a simple terms, if I want to put, if there is one BU, you'll have to, open different departments. You got it? You'll have to have an HR, you'll have to have an admin branch, you'll have to have an accounts payables, receivables, everything. Okay. But this is specific to one business function, which is your manufacturing. Now, if it is only one business function, what about the others? Like when you're hiring employees, who is going to make payments? There has to be an HR department, right, to clear the payments and whatever queries or problems they have, right? When you are who is going to make your employee contracts and all that?
Yes,
that the corporate BU will take care under the shared service model.
Whereas in this process, corporate BU is the master data, or
no, each BU will have a master data object. No, this BU is specific to this particular manufacturing. This BU will have about their sales. They'll be having their distribution centers. They'll be having different warehouses where the products will be kept there. So they will be having that business function related data, which will be stored in the specific master data object of BU2, right? And BU1 will have